Have you ever heard of a woman so determined to save children's lives that she became the first female student ever accepted at Harvard Medical School, during a time when women weren't even allowed there? This is the story of Dr. Faye Del Mundo, the Filipino scientist who defied all odds, broke gender barriers, and helped defeat diseases that once claimed the lives of millions. Her name may not be on the front pages of history books, but her impact can still be felt in hospitals, clinics, and medical textbooks all over the world. Dr. Faye Del Mundo's journey began in Manila, Philippines in 1911. She was born into a large, loving family. From a young age, she was surrounded by laughter, stories, and music. But tragedy struck when she was just 11 years old. Her older sister, who had always dreamed of becoming a doctor, died from appendicitis. As Faye stood beside her sister's grave, she made a promise that she would continue her sister's dream and dedicate her life to helping children survive diseases. That promise became her mission. Faye Del Mundo studied medicine at the University of the Philippines, where she quickly became known as a brilliant student. She graduated at the top of her class in 1933, an incredible achievement at a time when very few women were doctors. But Faye wanted to learn more. She wanted to see the best hospitals in the world and bring that knowledge back home to help Filipino children. So she applied for a scholarship to study in the United States. When Harvard University received her application, they were impressed by her achievements and accepted her. What they didn't realize was that she was a woman, because at that time, Harvard Medical School didn't accept female students. But when Faye arrived in Boston in 1936, it was too late to turn her away. The dean, impressed by her courage and determination, decided to make an exception. That's how Dr. Faye Del Mundo became the first female student ever enrolled at Harvard Medical School. Imagine that moment. A young woman from the Philippines, standing in a classroom full of men, in one of the most prestigious universities in the world. She was alone, far from home, facing bias and doubt. Yet, she never complained. She focused on what mattered most, learning how to save lives. Her classmates respected her for her dedication. Professors admired her brilliance. She studied pediatrics, focusing on children's health, and she excelled. After Harvard, Faye trained at some of the best hospitals in the U.S., including Boston Children's Hospital. She studied diseases that killed thousands of children, measles, diphtheria, and polio, and searched for ways to prevent them. She could have stayed abroad, living comfortably as a world-class doctor. But her heart was always in the Philippines. In 1941, she returned home, only to find her country in the middle of war. When the Japanese invaded the Philippines during World War II, hospitals were destroyed and many doctors fled. But Dr. Faye Del Mundo stayed. She set up a small clinic inside a military camp to treat children injured by bombs and bullets. She used wooden boxes as hospital beds and made do with whatever supplies she could find. Her courage during those dark years was unmatched. She worked day and night, saving the lives of orphans and sick children when medicine and food were almost impossible to find. Her selflessness earned her the nickname, the Angel of Santo Tomas. After the war, the Philippines was in ruins, but Dr. Faye Del Mundo was determined to rebuild hope. She realized that many children were dying, not just from war, but from preventable diseases like diarrhea, pneumonia, and dehydration. So, she decided to do something extraordinary, something no one had ever done before in the country. In 1957, she founded the Children's Medical Center in Quezon City, the first hospital in the Philippines dedicated entirely to children. She built it with her own money and donations from friends. It became a symbol of love and innovation. The hospital not only treated children, but also trained young doctors and nurses to specialize in pediatrics. She wanted every child, rich or poor, to have access to proper medical care. But Dr. Faye didn't stop there. She developed new medical techniques and devices to make healthcare more accessible. especially in rural areas. One of her inventions was the bamboo incubator, a low-cost, portable incubator made from native bamboo and used to keep premature babies warm in poor communities without electricity. This simple invention saved thousands of newborns' lives. Her passion for innovation and compassion made her a legend in the medical world. Over her career, Dr. Faye Del Mundo conducted research on infectious diseases, child nutrition, and tropical medicine. Her studies helped reduce deaths from diseases like polio and measles, and her advocacy led to national vaccination programs that protected millions of Filipino children. The world began to notice her brilliance. She received countless awards, including the Ramon Magsaysay Award for Public Service in 1977, often called the Asian equivalent of the Nobel Prize. She was also the first woman to be named National Scientist of the Philippines, the highest honor given to a scientist in the country. But even with all these achievements, Dr. Fee remained humble. She lived a simple life inside her hospital, often sleeping in a small room near the wards so she could check on patients at night. She never married or had children of her own. Instead, she considered every child she saved as her own. When asked why she never stopped working, even in her 80s, she simply said, "Children get sick every day. How can I rest when I can still help?" Her dedication was beyond measure. She continued to practice medicine until she was almost 100 years old. For Dr. Faye Del Mundo, being a doctor was never just a profession. It was a calling. She saw every child's smile as proof that life was worth fighting for. She believed that science was not about fame or money, but about compassion and service. Her work helped shape the entire field of pediatrics in the Philippines and inspired generations of doctors and scientists around the world. In 2011, at the age of 99, Dr. Faye Del Mundo passed away. But her legacy continues. Every child who survives a preventable disease in the Philippines is part of her story. Every pediatrician who saves a life walks the path she built. And every young girl who dreams of becoming a doctor stands on the foundation she laid. Dr. Faye Del Mundo's life reminds us that greatness has no gender, no boundaries, and no limits. She broke barriers at Harvard. She rebuilt hospitals after war. She invented tools from bamboo. She fought diseases that once seemed unbeatable. And through it all, she never forgot her purpose: to save children. Her story is a beacon of hope for anyone who feels small in a world of giants. She proved that you don't need wealth or power to change the world. You only need a heart that refuses to give up. From a little girl who made a promise at her sister's grave, to a woman who became a global symbol of compassion and scientific brilliance, Dr. Faye Del Mundo's journey shows us that even the smallest spark of love can light up the darkest places. Because true success isn't measured by what you earn, it's measured by the lives you touch. Like and subscribe for more videos like this.